Today I'm going to talk about the political drama that has unfolded in Maharashtra for last 3 weeks. So let me just talk about three questions. First, what is at the root cause of this crisis? What would happen to Maharashtra politics going forward? And third, what would happen to Shiv Sena and Thackeray family as such? The crisis seems to have ended with the anointment of Eknath Shinde, the leader of the rebel group, as the next chief minister of Maharashtra, and Devendra Fadnavis, BJP's leader, as the deputy chief minister of the state. Of course, there are going to be a lot of analysis in coming weeks on why BJP chose to play the second rung in the government, or everything was just about taking a revenge on Uddhav Thackeray and Shiv Sena for not allowing the BJP to form the government after emerging as the single largest party in 2019. But today we are largely going to focus on the future of Maharashtra politics and future of Shiv Sena. A lot of people are saying that the current crisis, and in fact, rebel MLAs pointed this out, that Shiv Sena under Uddhav Thackeray, and especially because of this coalition, is deviating from its core ideological agenda, especially Hindutva, and they are not following the principles that have been espoused by Balasaheb Thackeray, the founder of Shiv Sena. And the second argument people have made, that this is nothing to do with ideological platforms, but largely because of the ambition of Eknath Shinde, who thought he was number two and started feeling marginalized with the rise of Aditya Thackeray, son of Uddhav Thackeray. In politics, and that's how I like to think about things, there is rarely one reason which compels leaders to make such drastic move. The root of this crisis has all three elements. It's partly ideological, partly electoral compulsions, and partly personal ambitions of these rebels. So let me go one by one. Shiv Sena, when it started in 1960s, it has in some ways three logical planks. First, it used to talk about Marathi Manus, that they should be basically getting preference in jobs and other things. So element of nativism. The second was because it was also organized as a street fighting unit against labor unions and trade unions, and had an element of anti-communism in it. And third, starting in late 70s and early 80s, Balasaheb Thackeray, to expand the base of Shiv Sena, also started flirting with Hindutva ideas. And in fact, the Shiv Sena would like to claim that they were the first original proponents of Hindutva politics in country. Now, out of these three, anti-communism is no longer remains a plank. Most of these mills have closed down. Trade unionism is on sort of virtually extinct. And that's how even the nativism plank in last 10 years have been muted. On the Hindutva front, it seems that since Uddhav Thackeray came to the fore and after the death of Balasaheb Thackeray, the party has started moderating its position both on the Hindutva plank and on the nativism plank. So there is an ideological concern which many of these Shiv Sena MLAs, especially the old-timers like Eknath Shinde, who have been with the party since late 1980s, must have started feeling that given the last time they contested this election with the BJP, and many of their voters might have Hindutva sentiments why they're voting for them, without an alliance with BJP, they might have a difficult time in their constituencies. So that's the ideological sort of reason. It's also electoral in some ways, and that what led to the parting of ways of Shiv Sena and BJP. These were one of the two oldest allies. So Shiv Sena, since 1990s, have been getting 16-17% of votes in Maharashtra politics. Their basically base is in certain pockets of Maharashtra, Mumbai, Thane, Kalyan region, the Jalgaon, Aurangabad region, which has been renamed Aurangabad yesterday as Sambhaji Nagar, and parts of Konkan. In rest of Maharashtra, Shiv Sena's presence is largely meager. So BJP used to be the junior partner of Shiv Sena till 2014. And the situation changed with rise of Prime Minister Narendra Modi as the head of the BJP in 2014 election. Not only BJP emerged as the largest party among the two in 2014, but it also emerged as the single largest party. So BJP, which used to be number 4 party, became number 1 party in the state of politics. And Shiv Sena, in fact, electorally stagnated. With the rise of BJP, further stagnated. So it became a junior partner in the alliance, and its vote share remained at 15-17%, whereas BJP's vote share moved upwards of 25%. So that was one of the reasons why Shiv Sena was so much vehement, that they were promised the chief position of chief ministership during 2019 Lok Sabha election, and once that didn't materialize after the Vidhan Sabha election, Shiv Sena decided to partner with two of its rivals, NCP and Congress, and formed the Mahavikas Aghadi government. So there is this electoral reason. Shiv Sena was feeling squeezed, and these rebel MLAs feel that they would not be getting re-elected without the help and support of BJP. The third reason, which is, of course, is personal ambitions of leaders. People join politics to rise up the ladder and for power. And each time there has been a rebellion, not just in Shiv Sena, but also in other parties, personal ambitions have also played a crucial role. So Shinde, who thought that he was number 2 right after Uddhav Thackeray, and that was also the seating position in big rallies of Shiv Sena, started changing slowly, especially with the rise of Aditya Thackeray as a minister in Uddhav Thackeray government. Shinde was feeling that now he has hit a glass ceiling within the Shiv Sena. He's not going to rise more than where he is. And that became, again, another reason why he thought moving out and bargaining for a better position for himself in outside the Shiv Sena, current Mahavikas Aghadi government. So these are the basically like important reasons what led to this rebellion. Now let's start thinking about what would happen to Maharashtra politics going forward. For last 25, 30 odd years, politics in Maharashtra was in some ways organized around 2 coalitions. The first coalition was NCP and Congress. They had been ruling the state between 1999 and 2014. And the second coalition is Shiv Sena BJP. They were power in 95 to 99, and then again after 2014. In 2019, after a Vidhan Sabha election came out, the results came out, there was a rejig of these electoral coalitions. So going forward, because Shiv Sena has been getting weakened after each rebellion, and we can think of these rebellions like this is the third major rebellion, and why this is crucial both for Shiv Sena as well as for Maharashtra politics. So let me give you a brief background. Shiv Sena had first major rebellion in 1991-92 when Chhagan Bhujbal, who later on became Deputy Chief Minister from NCP, parted ways from Shiv Sena. And of course, there were personal reasons, personal ambitions then, but also an ideological reason. Chhagan Bhujbal was an important OBC leader of Shiv Sena, and he thought that because Shiv Sena and Bala Sahab Thakuray's position on Mandal Commission recommendation is not favorable, he decided to part ways. The second, and not only like he just moved out, he moved out with a dozen of MLAs. So that was the first big rebellion. The second big rebellion took place between 2005 and 6 when Narayan Rane decided to walk out, and again he walked out with almost a dozen of MLAs. Bala Sahab's nephew, who was seen as here his successor, Raj Thackeray, also decided to walk out at the same time when when they saw that Uddhav Thackeray was being anointed as one who will take the mantle of Thackeray legacy forward. So that was the second rebellion which weakened the Shiv Sena in the Konkan belt of Maharashtra. And this third rebellion, now the number seems to be reaching upwards of 3 dozen. So Shiv Sena at the moment has 55 MLAs in the house, and it seems more than 40 of its MLAs are going to the rebel camp. And if that happens, there are some indications that now this is not just a legislative party splitting, but also district units might see a vertical splits, especially in the regions where these MLAs are coming from. So you might see a similar split in the Mumbai Kalyan Thane belt, the Jalgaon Aurangabad belt, and then also in places like Vidarbha, where Shiv Sena is weaker, but again, the organizational party is likely to get weakened. The question, and going forward, which is we still don't know how the anti-defection law will be applied in this case, who will become the real Shiv Sena, who will get disqualified, and who will get the Shiv Sena brand and the electoral symbol of Shiv Sena. And these are the questions very important for the future of Maharashtra politics, because there is both some resonance of Bala Sahib's legacy as well as Shiv Sena as a party brand. And if that goes with the splinter group, then there is going to be a problem that the Thackeray family is going to face in terms of reviving the party. And in that sense, what might likely to happen that the party system which I was talking about will now be in flux for some time, and the question will only get settled when the next round of elections take place in 2024. But if this happens, Shiv Sena gets weakened, with the Congress is already weak in many parts of the country, and the same repercussions will take place in Maharashtra. So party system, in fact, may get sort of bipolar, where the two poles of Maharashtra politics will be BJP and NCP, and Congress and Shiv Sena will actually get marginalized. Now, this is a question that needs to be sort of seen how the politics play out. But that's one possibility, and there is conspiracy theory doing rounds that NCP wanted Shiv Sena to get weakened, and that's why, while they might have had the information about the movement of MLAs from Mumbai to Surat, they did not inform Shiv Sena or Uddhav Thackeray in time. Because now, while they might be sacrificing the government and taking a setback or hit in the short run, there is a long-term politics which will strengthen the position of NCP, and that's the calculation they might be making. But these are basically speculations and in the realm of conspiracy theory. Final point very quickly, which is, can the Uddhav Thackeray family, is this the end of you will something like this happen, and we keep hearing this is the end of dynastic politics, or this is the end of Thackeray family legacy? I don't know whether this is the end of it or not. It is definitely a setback for the moment. And it will not depend on what politics is going to get initiated by Aditya Thackeray, not Uddhav Thackeray. And the reason why I'm saying Aditya Thackeray and not Uddhav Thackeray, one, Aditya is very, very young, so he has a long gestation period to experiment. He was already one of the principal reasons why party's stand was moderating. He contested, he was one of the first Thackerays to contest election and win in 2019. So Uddhav is already sort of ailing. He has, he was not keeping well, and that was one of the reasons he cited in his speeches, that perhaps that was one of the reasons why he could not give enough time to his party workers and MLAs. So going forward, what kind of political initiatives get taken by Uddhav Thackeray will determine the longevity and future of Shiv Sena, and it will begin right away this year with BMC, the Bombay Municipal Corporation election. And that is at the heart of whether Sena can survive or not. BMC is Sena's fortress. They have been holding or winning the BMC election for many decades. It's one of the richest corporations in the country. It is where the resource base of Sena lies. If BMC goes out of Sena's hand or Thackeray family's hand, then the chances of revival will be very, very hard, and the gestation period would be long. So Of course, it matters who becomes the CM and what kind of coalition politics takes place and whether Shinde group gets recognized as real Sena or not. But the first test of future of Maharashtra politics will become very evident with the Bombay Municipal Corporation elections that are scheduled to take place this year. I hope you enjoyed this short clip on the political drama that has unfolded in Maharashtra for the last 3 weeks. Thank you. Look forward to your comments and feedback.